Welcome, and today we continue with data exploration. Yay! So we're gonna continue with that, and let me just try to close some of these results. I was just trying to work on it before we began. All right, so we have a data set that we're supposed to use. The link is in the ebook, so don't worry if the values that are in there are different from the ones that I'm going to be using here. That's totally fine. It's just that I'm using a different data set, my own data set for this one. So the first things first, we import our pandas as PD. We name a variable, the variable we're going to use to store this, right? So let's name it data here, pd.read CSV, and then we have the file path in there in those curly brackets, and then this is the CSV file that we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. Maybe there are more columns, which I'll check in the next commands, right? Then we have this. These are the values that we have. We have 320 rows by 5 columns. Oh yes, so we do have 5 columns. Then data.info, gonna run this. We don't have any null values, so everything is complete. The data is full, right? Then we have integers for machine ID, and then for the rest they're floats. Okay, 5 columns. All right, and then we're gonna run that. And then you can see that we have a count of 320, just like what we were told there. Let me try to scroll. Why do I have that? Okay, then now we have this data.describe giving us a summary. You should be able to understand your data set before you work on it. So once you've run this command, I want you to think of a summary, work on the summary, and try to describe what's happening there. Run that and write the summary. Then over here, we're going to start with something new, right? So what happens after we have... I want this to disappear. Sorry. Okay. So I'm not sure what it's doing with this. Okay, that's fine now. We're going to look at this first. So we're going to look at selecting columns. Let's say you don't want the whole thing, you don't want the whole data set, you have a specific column that you're targeting, right? So you want to be able to access that column. So this is this command that we have to write for that, right? So over here we select the column by, we first reference our data frame, our data, yes, here, and we come in and open our square brackets, and then we write the name of that column in quotes, right? So over here we want the run hours column, right? So this is what we want. Come in and run this code. And as you can see, we have run hours only. That's how you can access a single column. Maybe there's something that you want to look at and all that. Sorry. So this is what we have, right? Let's just close that. And let's close this too. Okay, let's open that. This one, you might want it. Not this one, sorry, this one. So we have this, right? So let's try to move on, right? So this is how you can select a single column. But what happens when you want to select multiple columns? When you want to select multiple columns, this is where we have to introduce 2 sets of the square brackets. Over here, for in terms of syntax, this is how I have to do it. When you want to select more than one column, you have to introduce so it's like introducing, it looks like a list, right? Yes, of the columns that you want to open. So we have, let's say we want to open machine ID and vibration levels. We want to open this column and the vibration levels column. This is what we have, and we can now run that. All right, before we look at this error, I know what's wrong there. I want you to, let's just close that error. Right? I want you to notice something when we're dealing with data. This one. We say data is equals to pandas pd.read CSV, right? You see, with that one, we don't have to come in and write print. When we just write data and we put the column that we want, it just comes in and shows us. That's just how it is with this one. But let's see here. Let's put a print statement there. That's a nice print. Put in a print statement there. Let me close that. Syntax, right? Print. Let's see what it gives me, right? But then over here, this is what it shows, right? It shows name, brand, the type, whatever. We can still view the items, right, using print. But then when we just run it with when we just run it like that, it gives us like, so you see what happens when we just put it as data, run hours, it shows us like, it's sort of like an Excel sheet. Like you can clearly see that we have these rows from, we have this row, we have that one, this was the column name. It shows us like how it's appearing in the data set that we have above. Like, it's like a table. Yes, that's how it's being shown. But then the moment we run it as when we add the pre-statement, it just seems like we just have a value being printed one after the other. With that, after that, then at the bottom, that's when it comes in and it says that the row name, it gives us a row name and all that. So you don't have to go in and write print there. It will just display what you want there. All right, now looking at this error that we got here. Why did we get this error? Now let's look at our one machine ID and vibration levels, right? And what's the name of the error? It's a key error. And what is it saying? It's saying none of index machine ID vibration levels are in the columns, right? We don't have that column. That's what it's saying. We don't have that column, and let's check. We actually don't. We have machine ID and vibration levels, and as you can see how these are named, they are in small caps, whereas what I wrote here is in capital letters. So I will have to come in and fix that. So you have to be careful there. This is why you should be able to read your error messages, right? So that you won't get confused. And they actually help you out. I actually don't know. Oh, that's where the problem is. Is this correct now? Let's check. Yes, it is. And now we have our table, a small table of a machine ID, and vibration levels there. All right, so yeah. So let's just look at the syntax again for that, right? So the first bracket, which is the yellow one, right, tells Python we're selecting something from this data frame, right? Then the second bracket, the pinkish one, is the list of columns that we want. So we want a subset of the whole data set, right? So this is what we have. All right, so before I go in and explain filtering, that's the next part, I would like us to look at something that we hadn't covered, that I didn't cover fully in the introduction part of Python. You remember when I mentioned how we have different data types, and I talked about Boolean values, right? And those are like the truth or false and all that, right? Yes. So yeah, I'm just going to give an example of how those work, and then this will help us when we explain what's happening here. So let's say we have a value. We have x is equal to 10. We have y is equal to 5. These two, right? And then I create a variable that I call is equal. You can name this whatever you want to name it. Then I assign it. Then in what I'm assigning is that I'm saying that x is equal to y. This is what I've assigned to this variable, right? Then, so what Python does, it comes in now, it looks at x and it looks at y. X is 10, y is 5. So when I print is equal, this is what it shows me. It shows false. Because x is not equal to y, right? The value in x is not equal to the value that we have in y over there. But let's say that y was 10. Then I wrote that statement. It would say true. See, so it will check whether this and this are really equal. Then if they are, it will give us true. And then if they are not, it will say false. So these are like the Boolean values that we have. And then that's the data type. That I think I just mentioned it in parsing that we have this, but then we hadn't looked at examples that work at that. So this is what we have, right? So when we talk about filtering lets us select only data we care about, right? Let's say that we want to look at machinery that require maintenance, right? So, and in our data set, we might have what we call a maintenance flag. Let me just check in this data set if I do have that. Maybe I actually don't. Let's say I actually don't have a maintenance flag in this data set. Ooh, I chose the wrong data set. Now okay, and I don't think I should have chosen a different type of a different data set. All right, but then that's okay. Let's see if I can find a different data set there. Let me just try to import one. Machine performance. Mission performance. Let's see if this one had open. Okay. So let me just try to copy that path. Oh, you see, this is what happens when you try to be different. I try to use a different data set, and that data set doesn't have the things we want. So let me just try to. All right, we have that. So let me try to run this. Does it have maintenance flag? Yes, it does. It has maintenance flag. Okay, so all right, I was using the wrong file, guys. It's fine. It's my bad. So actually, I'm not using the one that you are using. You're going to be using a different one from this. but that's okay. Let's see here. So that info, let's run this one. Yes, we have this one. Then let's run this one again. Where do I have? Let's see. All right. So over here we have machine ID, power. I'm not seeing some of the columns there. That's why I'm getting a little worried there. So let's just check this one out. Right, we ran this. Yes, we have all that, right? Then we come in and say that. Say that. Okay, let's see if this will work now. All right. We have maintenance flag in the dataset that I've selected. Right. So what's happening here, right? Right. So we now want, what we want to do is look at the syntax that we have here. Then that's what we will use, right? So data, this is this one. This is the whole data set that we have, that data frame, right? Then we have the yellow braces. Then we now have we have something that we have inside there. So inside the bracket, we have data, maintenance, flag, equal sign, then we have yes. So this one over here, this statement that we wrote inside, will create a Boolean series for us, right? For each item that we have in maintenance flag being the column that we are going to be working with. So from the whole data set, what I am doing is looking at the maintenance column in our data frame. It will then create a Boolean series, checking if it is exactly equal to yes, right? For each row. That's what it will do. So Python then comes in and selects only the rows where the condition is true. That's how we're going to be. It's going to select the true, the ones that have true responses over here. So data, the first data that we are selecting the whole data set. And then what we have, the statement that we have inside is similar to the statement that we have here, what it was doing, right? It's now coming in and checking, and creating a Boolean series for each row we have in reference to the maintenance flag column. And what would then happen is that with this syntax, Python will come in and only select the rows where the condition is true. So let me try to run this. All right. So what it does, it filters now for us. Then as you can see, sorry, let me try to scroll down there. I'm going to try to remove this. Okay, that's fine. As you can see, so after running that, and I've code maintenance machines, this is what we have. As you can see here so let me try to, okay, that's done. So as you can see, it's no longer numbered from 1 over here. Let's just check there. Yeah, it's no longer numbered like from 0 actually. We have 0, 1 in order, right? Things that we had. It's actually telling us that now I have 2, what else in row 2, 5 from the original, right? This is what we have, because those are the ones where the maintenance flag is yes. So you might just want to know the machines that need maintenance. So you just seeing the ones that have been flagged with yes, then the ones that have no, you might not need those. And this is what we have for that, right? So this is what we have. And you can try that out with different columns and different conditions there. So we are now going to look again at what we call conditional filtering, right? Where we might have different conditions combined there. So we can also filter with multiple conditions, and we use and, or, those things that we're using, and or, right? Yes. What does and refer to? The and that I'm talking about is this one. And or. Those statements, what is that topic? I think of my friend, where we have gates, exactly. When we're dealing with gates, right? So it's the same thing here. The ones that we have and or, those ones. XOR, the ones that we have, right? Yes. And for and, this is the symbol for and, right? For or, let me just write the symbols there so that you know. For and is that and, right? Then for or, we have this. This is that straight line one there. Yes. When I get the actual name for that, I'll reference it. Okay, so we might want to, for example, we might have been given a condition where we want machines with high vibration and long runtime. So you might be told that the vibration levels that we consider as being high is 4. That might be the case, right? Then the runtime we consider as being high is 100. So what's the condition, right? The condition is that the vibration level has to be greater than 4, as well as the run hours, they have to be greater than 100. This is what we have. So this is the condition. So this is the any condition that you have, you're putting it in your curly brace, your curly braces there. This is the first condition. And then the second condition, what's the operation that we have the end, then the second condition is in its on curly braces. So right, I think yes. So what will Python return? Python will return the rows where both these conditions are satisfied. So this is what we have there. Let's run that. Okay, sorry. Trying to scroll. What's happening there? Right, yeah. So which ones are those? The one that is in the 0, 1, 3, 10, 15, 17 over there. These are the ones that we have. And then these are vibration level 4.7, run hours it's greater than 100, you know. So this is what we have. So you can filter with your conditions, or you come in there and you do it like that, right? This was just filtering using the boolean over there. Then here we have the ones we had with conditions, right? So I think I'm going to look at this next, these three next, before we go to modifying. Right. So what else can we do? So we can also sort and index. Sorting lets us organize the data. So, and while indexing lets us access specific rows or column. All right, so we can start with sorting. You might want to sort your data in ascending orders for using the run hours column, the runtime, the run hours column, or the vibration level column, whatever you might want to use, right? So that is what we can use there. So this is the syntax that we use. All right, so we just want us to see what it looks like before we do that. Let me just show the first 10. So you say data.head, you're showing the first 10 values there, 5.10. So this is what we have initially, right? Then now we want to apply sort. So data sorted, this is the variable I've created, right, is equal to data.sort values. So sort values, right, this is the one we're going to be using. It's going to take in the two, we're feeding it with two parameters over here, where we have sorting by which column we want run hours, right? Then we want it to sort ascending force. So it's descending, right? It's going to start from the highest to the lowest. So over here, come in and say ascending false or ascending true, depending on how you want to sort it. But then we want it to start from the highest to the lowest. So that's why we're saying ascending false. So if ascending is false, that means ascending is true. So it's going to start from the highest, right? Then let me also show the 10 over here. I think 3 was too little. We want to show the 10, and as you can see, it's no longer the same values that we had. We're now starting with the one that was in position 52. It has the highest number of run hours. Then as you can see, it's descending. 1999, 1995, 1945. Oh, sorry, I'm not saying them like they're years. All right, no, they're not years. 1999, 1995, like that, right? Then so that's that for sorting using this. Then let's see the. All right, so over here there's actually something that we can use, something different. All right, so for indexing, how do I show indexing? Let me add a piece of code there. I forgot to add something for indexing. Oh, all right, let me scroll down because AI wants to generate the code for me. Right, so let's say you want to access the first row. So let's just, why did I capitalize that? But it's okay, but it doesn't look nice. Okay, see, it already knows what you want to do. So we're going to let's look at the data that we just sorted. So it's sorted in data sorted. This is where we have the sorted data set. And we want to access the first item there. Then so we can reference. You don't want it from the original data, from the original data frame, the one that we named data. No, you want it to take from data.sorted. So over there. Data sorted. That's the name, right? Sorted. And then what we can use for this is iLog. Call it iLog. Then we want the first one. So that's, sorry, it's not curly braces. It's supposed to be, let me just show you that again. I think that's actually something good. Let me just go back. As you can see, I wrote iLog, but then it's already giving me this text box that appears over here that tells me something about iLog. And as you can see, iLog with square brackets there is primarily integer position based from 0 to length minus 1 of the x's, but may also be used with Boolean arrays. Allowed inputs are, you can actually score. These appear a lot when you put in something that Python recognizes, right? And then it gives you notes about it. That's actually cool. So you can actually get what inputs are allowed and all that, right? So I had put in curly braces. So I know that's wrong because I saw this square braces over there. So I can now come in and and fix that up. And our position 0. After let's see if this works out. And it gives us an error, and then we laugh and fix the error. Let's see what it gives us. Oh, sorry. I have to call first row. Sorry. I was like, but it finished running, so where is what's happening? First row. So what has it done for us? So you see it says 52. This is the first. So everything here is for row 52. What is row 52? In sorted data, you can come in and check that row 52 is the first item that's position 0. It's now at position 0. It was at position 52, but now it's at position 0. So it comes in and tells us that this is coming from that. Then it gives us all this information about it. So that's good. And that's fine. And over here, I also want to show us another thing that we can do there. Just remember that we don't just have iLock, we also have something that we call lock, right? Lock. So with lock like this, with locks, it's in small caps. Let me just fix that first, because you might lock, right? Let me just add text boxes. I think the other codes that I wrote might be confusing us, so let me just do that. And then where do we use lock? We use lock to select rows matching a condition by label. We use it to select rows matching a condition. So let's look at this data set here. I actually want us to look at data because I want us to compare. So if we scroll up, no, not the sorted one. Not here. I want us to look at the condition that we had here. Not this one. I want us to look at, we had this one, right? Where it selected the rows that had this when we're doing filtering, right? So I want us to do the same with lock and see if these two do the same thing for us. Okay. So let's write. So it's going to be data. Sorry, we're not using data underscore sorted. No, we're using data dot lock. And let's see, does it give us any information about lock? Yes, it does. It does. Lock is primarily label based, but may also be used. Be used with a Boolean array, a single label 5. Blah, blah, blah. You can read that. That's just something cool. All right. So we use it like data. Then we say lock, and then we open another braces and we write data. And it's maintenance flag, right? Write the column there. It's maintenance flag. Why is it not moving? Oh, it is. Okay. After maintenance flag, we want our maintenance flag to be. Let's see if it takes in Boolean. It said Boolean values. It takes, right? I think it did, right? Let me pick that up. And right, yes. And let's check this one out. Let's see if it works like this. Right, so let's close these other outputs that we can compare with. This is actually the one that we want, lock, and we want to compare it with. Let's close these ones. Let's close that one. It's reloading. Did I say first? Okay, it's showing us what we do want to see. Let's just go back to where we are supposed to be. All right, I have to redo that and close this one. Then here we can show this one. All right, so at 2, 5, 10, 16, 17. 2, 5, 10, 16, 17. Is it 2, 5, 10? 2, 5, 10, 16, 17, 19. So it's the same items. So that's actually cool, guys. We can actually use data log here, data.log to get that. Or let me scroll. Let me try to scroll. Or we can just say data and data, that's right. Like, so you might not even have to do the data.log, and it's just different syntax there. It's doing the same thing for us. So that's cool. So you might find out there are so many ways of doing the same thing. That's just one thing that we can use. So we are done with sorting. So now we might want to look at another thing that we can do with our data set. A lot of things we can do. We can add a new column. Right, so in this case I chose, let's create a new column called efficiency. How do you create that column called efficiency? We can do it based off of what we call calculations, right, or conditions. But here we're going to do a calculation. So how do we get efficiency? Efficiency here is run hours divided by the power, right? So that's the efficiency. Don't come for me if that's not how efficiency is calculated. I'm just giving you an example here, right? You might actually have power per hour. Let's say you're given power consumption, and then you divide it by the runtime hours, right? Like over here, that actually makes more sense. Like it's an actual way. Like we have the total power consumption, then we have the run hours, so we can calculate the power per hour there. But let's just leave it here. I should have thought of that then. I don't know why I did that, right? So we can come in and say, how do we add something? We come in and say data, and then we give the name to our data frame, the one that we have that data. Then we can come in and write the string, the name of the column here, it's efficiency. And how do we get it? We say data, the runtime hours. So it comes in and makes a calculation, run hours, and then we divide them by the power. So what do it will come in and look at, so it will do this for all the rows, right? So then for runtime hours, it will come, this one, it will divide it by, it's power divided by that. I don't know. It's this one divided by power. Okay. So you come in and say 960 divided by 129, and the value that it gets, it comes in and puts it in a new column. Oh, I already have a column called efficiency. Why am I putting another column called efficiency there? So let's create another column there. This one makes sense. I already had efficiency. But I think it's because I'm using a different data set from the one that I used when I was creating this. So probably it didn't have. So we can call this one power per hour, and then let's see how we wrote this. Power kWh divided by run hours. Sorry. Does it look like this? Power kWh, power kWh there. Why am I panicking? It was there. Run hours. Run. How did the H look there? Run hours, capital letter H. So this is what we have, and we can come in and now say, so it will create a new column there called for power. For so long for efficiency, it's power per hour. So we can run that. Here, as you can see, we have power per hour now. That's what we have. So 0.049 kilowatts per hour. That's the power per hour for machine 001. Oh, nice. That's nice. Okay, so we can also have one where we are saying, we can say an adjusted, you can have an adjusted temperature column, like we have temperature here. Then the column, we can just call it adjusted temperature, and then it comes in and looks at the temperature column, right? We put temperature column there, then we add 5. So whatever temperature was in there, then we come in and say add 5. So let's say another way we can do, let's say we wanted to change this to Fahrenheit, right? There's an addition or subtraction of a number there. So that is what we can actually, maybe we want to change this, we can actually come in and create a Fahrenheit temperature, and the calculation is subtracting or adding or a value there. So we come in and reference the temperature there. So I can come in and write so it will be data and then we call that Fahrenheit temp in right? And then we come in and write that. Then we say it's equal to data, and then we reference the temperature C. Temperature in Celsius, and come in and add 5. Add 5 there. So that's one way we can do it there. And that's another way we can add a column there. So that shouldn't be too hard, right? So yeah, that's that. Then I think we are going to look at the last part of this. These are loops and functions on our data sets. We can actually create functions that do a lot over here, right? So I am going to look at functions. This section I do have it in the, I try to explain it a bit better in the ebook. So let's just try to open up the ebook. Yeah, all right. So okay. Sorry, let's see where I have, and I'm just checking. I think we've actually covered almost all the things, but there are other things that you can. Oh yeah, again on creating new columns there, you can actually come in and create a column, based on a condition, like I mentioned, a condition. So if it will check if this or this is true. We actually did this when we're doing those conditions, so it's just up to you now to come and say, okay, I now just want to create a column that does this. So this shouldn't even be hard. You just have to try it out a bit and just trick some stuff. You'll find out that it's actually going to be easy to do. All right, medium. All right. We actually see this, I think, in a function that we're going to look at, but then that's fine. All right, so for we're using loops and functions on data, looping through rows, right? You might want to do something that requires it to loop through rows. So, but how does it just generally loop through rows in our data set? We can use a for loop, right? And with a for loop, it uses for index row in, let me see if I can use a pen so we can draw a bit in my book. Let me just see my pen. All right, yes. So for index row in data dot iter rows, then if row vibration level is greater than 5, print machine row machine ID has high vibration, right? And okay, that's how we can do that. The question probably was asking, like, let it look through the data and check if the vibration level is greater than 5. If it's greater than 5, it should print that row in machine ID has high vibration, something like that, right? That's how the question might have been structured. So to understand this syntax, let's look at it like this. This loop, okay, let me just read. Right, so we're here. This loop goes through the data frame row by row. For each row, it has row. This row that we're using things, a row contains all values for that machine. We check if vibration level is above 5. If it is, we print a message saying the machine's ID and saying it has high vibration. Right. So okay. So we have two items that we have index over here. So index, what index does, it gives us, so we have something that we say row number. We get it by the index, the row number, right? And then index is row and row column, where we are taking row, then row column, this segment there. Row vibration levels. What does it have? This one. It lets us get the value from that column in that current row. Let us get the value from that column in that current row, right? So we have an index that gives us the row number. So a row number, we have information like this is a row. There's one. There are many columns there, right? So we might specify that we want column V. So we write a row there. So it would be like so it'd be like row, and then here we have V, like, row V. So this one will let us get the value from that column in that current row. Since row index has given us the row number, we now know from row index it's going to be this row. But which item exactly do we want? So row column, when we say row V, it will tell us that in that column, right, whatever column we have, in that row that we have chosen, right, we want the item that's under column V. So we want this item there. This is the item that we want. So index will give us the row number, and then row square brackets with the column name in quotes will give us the value from that column name, right, in that current row. That's what it just means. I hope that makes sense. So this is what it's doing. So it will say for index row in data.iter rows. Then iter rows, right, let me just, all right, so iter rows now is the one that actually allows that movement to happen, like, it will go row by row. So for index 0, then to index 1, 2, 3, and all that, while at least we're accessing the specific item under whatever row that we choose, right? Yeah, it's a lot of doodling, I know. I'm just trying to make it make sense. Yes, so this is what this will do. So this is how we can loop through that. Let me go. So this is how we can loop through, the items that we have. I think we can actually try to apply this. Let me see if I can copy this code so that I don't have to let's see if it's, I don't think I can. I think I have to open it in another application for me to be able to do this, right? Right, so that's fine. So again, let me look at something else for us. Right, so okay, so I think this video is getting quite long, but I think it's necessary that we just do everything in one. I don't have a lot of videos, so I think let's add something there. Code. This is a code that we could. These are variations of the code that we could use, but I wanted to use something a bit different from that. But I actually like the different answers I was able to get there. Right, so we can have that. Let's use for index row, for index, that's a row number in data.iter rows, right? If maintenance flag, so that's actually what we want there. If maintenance flag is equal to yes, we want to print something. So tab print machine needs maintenance. Machine needs maintenance. Well, it's saying that, all right, so after we write machine maintenance, right, right, we actually wanted to give us like the machine ID, right? So how can it get machine ID? It will have to use the row again, right? A row and then in brackets machine ID. So it since it's already in that certain row that we have. I don't know if this makes sense, but right, it has checked that if the maintenance flag is yes, it has gone in here and it has checked and seen that this row, right, in this row, index rows, maybe it has gone through 1, 0, 1, but now in here, then it has checked that the maintenance flag is yes. That row under maintenance flag, this one has yes. It comes in and checks that row now to get this machine ID. So we can use we place a comma there, we use row, then we have brackets there, and we use machine ID. We want machine ID there. So machine raw machine ID. This is what we want. So how do we place it in there? From that row, we wanted to place that row's machine ID. And let me put the correct thing there. Over there. We can write it like that there. And there. Alright, so let's see if this is correct. Alright. So how many machines do we have? We have a lot. So this is how you can iterate through rows, right? It's no longer just for X in the method that we're using for lists, right? Here we have to understand that it's now a list of lists, something like that. Like we have a list of lists. In terms of we have rows and columns, and for each rows there are items that are under each column. So for us to access a certain item, we need to have the row number, right? And then after we have the row that's the row number, right? We actually have to be able to use a row to actually get the specific item under a column. So in this row, right, we want something that's under power, even though the index is 0, right? Then row power, saying in this row, right, under power, what do we have? We have 60.9. This is what we can use. So it's coming in after every machine. Let's check that fits this. It comes in and writes this. So it goes through those and writes this for us. So this is what we can do there. And then another thing that we can use, we can actually write functions. We can apply functions here. So let's see if the examples that I have here do what I'm asking. All right, so it might come in here and say, okay, let me do this. Let me try to delete some of the stuff that I already had written so that we look at one. I have 3 ways I had written on how to do this. Delete, but I want you guys to be the ones to try out different methods. Let's remove this. Oh, but I like what do I do now? I actually like this method, but no, it's fine. Let's stick to one. Then you can test others out as you go. Oh, look at me! I'm already at week 4. I'm just joking. We're still in week 2. That's just week 4 stuff there. It's fine. And then, all right, so we can do it like this. We have to fix some stuff there. I don't want to run the code like this. How do I remove this? This thing, it's stubborn. Alright. Anyway, it's fine. I think we can find a way to just ignore that. So, we can use functions, right? Def get a risk level. Again, I don't want us to think that row is the only term that you can use there. Right, so we can come in and write. Right. You can actually come in big. Oh, okay. Big space there. We can come in and say machine in there. Right, so if machine, alright, if it's machine, if machine fold count is greater than 5 or vibration level is greater than 5, we return high. So it returns high for us. And elif row fold count, so elif machine. So another condition, if it's not high, if the fold count is equal to 2, it will return medium. Jesse? I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Then we have else. It returns low. So if it doesn't satisfy this condition, it gives us low, right? So this is how we have, this is the function. So then how do we then apply it to our data, right? So we want this risk level to be displayed in a new column. So we're going to name it a data risk level apply. This is the name of the column that we have. Then we're going to say data.apply risk level. Get risk level x is 1, right? So again, functions make our code reusable. So we can use this for in different in different parts of our code where we might want to get risk level. Then with apply, right? Apply x is 1 there. This applies the function to each row. This is what it does. Sorry, this applies the function to each row. So each row, there's a function, it will be applied. So over here, let me change. It's not supposed to be row anymore. I said we could use machine. No, can use machine there. So let's see if we can get something there. And if not, we can work on the air. All right, modifying. Let me delete that. No, let me just add a comment line there. All right, so we have a comment line there. I think that was the error that was brought up the first round. Ooh, we actually do have a new error, and I actually think I know why. Let me close this one first. Vibration level, capital. Folds. It's folds there, capital folds. It's the wrong name reference for this file that I'm using. But for your file that you're going to be using for week 2, it'll probably be the correct way to write it. That's just that I changed the file that I'm using. So folds and then vibration. Right, sorry. Okay. Folds there. All right, so how do we now show that we have edited this? We now go in that. Okay. So let's see if we have. Oh, we have it. I don't know why I don't want to slide to the left. Let's see. Slide to the left. Let's slide to the left. Let's slide to the left. Okay, I think it's just because, Okay, so we can do what we talked about, we can open up just one column there. Risk levels apply. Let's rerun this. Right, so that we just show. So it comes in, we have applied this risk level. This one is low, this one is high. This is just because of the conditions that we have set. Might be a standard that something that has fault levels above this, or something that has the vibration level above this, the risk is high. The risk status is high for that, or for that machine. It might just be like that. So this is how we can apply function. This is one way we can apply function. There are different ways. Another way is to use NumPy, and other ways to make like those conditional formatting like we're using, then applying them like what I brought us there. But it's all up to you on what you might want to use for that. So just to wrap up this week's work, right, you should be able to use lists and dictionaries to organize data, load CSV datasets in Python, select, filter columns and rows with clear understanding of the syntax of what it means. I was trying to go through it, but again, we do have a resource that we can always use for syntax. It is the Python documentation. I don't know if I have it referenced in the ebook, but I think it should be there. You can go to that and try to read it out. Though it might be, complicated to read it first, you can always just type something in Google and try to read. We also have that one that's called W3 School. That's actually a very great resource. We won't be able to do everything for Python, but they on W3 School, I think or Geeks for Geeks, is it? They try by all means to put everything there, the different things that you might work on, they're there. You can even practice exercises. So if you're done with mine, you can always go there and carry on. So you should be able to sort and index data. You should be able to create and modify columns. You should be able to apply loops and functions. And this will help us automate analysis so that you don't have to go in every time you want to fix up something. Have loops did for you. So thank you so much. I'll see you next time.